Welcome to the video in case you're watching this on YouTube. I'm Dodo, I'm a League of Legends coach and we always do some reviews and coaching live on stream, so check that out. Link in the video description. Today we're gonna watch LNG against T1. A very interesting series because apparently T1 completely whooped the ass of LNG. So let's kind of figure out how T1 did that. I didn't watch the games. I saw a few picks, I think. So I saw Jay's top lane once. But I don't remember any other picks. So let's kind of see how the draft evolves. And as always, if you have any questions, please do let me know in the YouTube comments or message me on Discord or join the stream where we always discuss this live, right? And we try to learn together. So in case I'm wrong, you might actually be right, okay?
Specifically, if
might happen. Let's do it a little bit more quiet and then let's jump in. So we start with Caitlyn ban, which is sort of interesting. So we're taking out a dominant bot lane, which T1 seems to play through mostly. Against G2, we saw sort of Draven Kalista ban, right? So Kalista now is sort of a pick that is technically still open. But I guess LNG with the Renata ban already tries to take out a little bit of the Kalista threat from the side of T1. T1 going for the Xayah ban, fairly standard ban on red side that we've seen. Usually we see either Xayah or Rakan taken out to make sure there's no like Xayah Rakan combo you really need to care for. Xayah SB1 can be fairly strong, especially with your Kalista already taken out. Not Keria, Caitlyn, right? Nico's B1 we've seen a lot more recently, especially in the Geo series that I and my team competed in the final of Coup de France, where Geo's Nico kind of clapped us a little bit. Wasn't that directly the Nico, but Geo did go for the Nico B1, I think 2 times. Or 3 times, actually. 2 times. 2 times. Rumble ban, okay. So taking out one of the stronger sort of top laners out as well. And the Jax ban, which I guess is Zika first, just a Zika target ban, right? So let's kind of figure out, okay, what B1s are there still open. I'm a little bit watched up with reviewing, right? Because I was focused on the series that we had against Geo. But if we look in general, what B1s are there still, right? So previously we've seen a lot of Rel. There might be Renekton with Rumble out, right? With Rumble up, you're not going to pick Renekton, but with Rumble out, there's a chance. Some teams used to go for Talia. There's still Orianna, which I guess is one of the biggest ones. Is there any pick I'm like kind of forgetting about right now? You might go Kaiser if you're really keen on getting this AD carry with AD carry bans. So you'll have a targeted Kaiser ban, Caitlyn is out, Xayah, so maybe they go for Kaiser. But I reckon it's just going to be Orianna B1, right? Orianna B1 is the most versatile, strong lane, strong champion in general. Let's see what they're going for. Jarvan. Okay, so they just don't really care too much about the pick for now. And maybe also think, well, if we pick Jarvan, well, your Orianna pick is not going to be as good because we have some decent tools to get onto Orianna. I personally believe that I just don't give a shit and I'd go Orianna, and you can just match this with anything you would like, right? So in case you have another high priority pick, you can go for it. So let's say, for example, Rel, you could flex pick Rel, or for example, you could just do Orianna Poppy, right? Against Jarvan B1, I think Poppy, one of the best picks, obviously, fairly decent pick to pick early on as well. Orianna has decent range, so now they either have to match range or look to outrange, or they need to continue to engage, which Poppy and Orianna are fairly happy about, right? I just talked Orianna Poppy, I think. You could also like delay in case you want to just trade Orianna Syndra, Orianna Zia. And look to like Kalista, because the red side you've got you have the option to counter pick. Okay, so it's Orianna Rel. Okay, that also works for me. That also works for me, right? So you decide to pick Rel, you decide to pick Ori. And you can still look to go for something like Poppy later. Like Spacebar a little. Okay, it'll work out now. So against Orianna Rel, this composition can kind of still go everywhere. You've got a good ball carrier, you've got one of the best mid laners. Honestly, if Orianna Rel is open on red side and UB1 Jarvan, I would already really hard prefer the red side draft. Because I believe that red side simply has way more options in draft right now. They have more versatile champions. And even if they decide to go for the strongest theme of Jarvan, which is engage, and like the sort of catch sort of thing, then this composition can easily look to counter it within later picks. Right, so you're picking Kaiser. Okay, now we're looking into catch hard engage. Already know that LNG's composition needs to go for that. I reckon they are going to pick support. Support is like already kind of out. I think you have to go for something like I really hate to use it. I think you have to go for something like Nautilus. Actually, let me check. I guess there's enough picks, right? So there's still, like, I guess, like Rakan, there's Leona, there's Nautilus, and potentially Alistair. But the problem that you have, I think, is that T1 right now can still look to go into outrange. And T1 previously already did it, right? They did it with Varus. They even do it with Jay's top lane, which I remember from this series. Or at least that's what I've seen on Twitter. I don't know when it gets picked though, right? But T1 has shown that they actually go for very hard outrange pokey sort of compositions. Not locking Nautilus now, I think, will significantly reduce the engage options you will have later. Because I would ban out the two easiest. And that is Nautilus and probably Rakan. Because I don't think Alistair or Leona are realistically going to get onto me. And Leona just sucks. Right, that also plays a role. So here, honestly, going to outrange, Rel is a flex pick, don't have to secure jungle right now. You can do Poppy if you really want to. And then just lock Rel towards bot. Okay, they interlocked Aatrox already. I just wanted to say, if I'm T1, maybe I'm even thinking about just locking Varus right now. Do they have a lot of engage sort of potential? Maybe. So maybe that's why they don't do it. But I think, yeah, you shouldn't really care all too much. So they go Aatrox. Also fairly good. Right, one of the better plant picks in top, at least for Zeus. You have the option to potentially ban top laners out right now. And blue side composition needs to go for a sort of engaging kind of draft. And as always, with front and back compositions, we want to have at least one pick in the game that can catch and potentially win side lane. Right? That's why we usually delay top lane. But if we can just pick Aatrox here and take some options away, that's also okay. Like, well, the thing is, what options are there even? Maybe for Zika, there's... is this your first time looking at these drafts? Yes. The only thing I remember from these drafts is... I remember Faker played Orianna one time with Crown, so people were mad on Twitter, and I remember Jay stop playing. Welcome to the stream storm, by the way. Wait, I just kind of forgot my point, right? But one thing that is just important is to have a decent side lane and front and back compositions, because otherwise, like front and back compositions want to play together, otherwise it's very easy for them to open towards side, potentially look for catches, engage compositions, right? And then look to just man advantage you around the map, which is not really what you would like to see. I'm wondering if this is a Rakan or Leona ban. Opak, you're in for a treat then? I heard T1 completely obliterated, right? So, let's see. But right now, T1 draft, R1 or 2, I already believe they're Giga winning. Aphelios is a fine pick. I'd honestly take Varus away from T1. Also, by the way, even if Renata is banned, right? If you pick Kaiser, you need to ban Kalista probably. I would never ban Aphelios. I think I ban Kalista Varus against T1. I know Gumayusi is good at the champ. I think the other picks are a bigger problem though. Okay, Alistair ban can be a better lane. The thing is, I'd never ban Alistair here. Well, it kind of depends what you pick here, right? So maybe T1 decides to go for like Varus or whatever. Then Alistair can be a decent ban. In case I actually think about the Kalista line, I would never ban Alistair because Kaiser Alistair is a very weak lane early on. Alistair thematically is sort of a counter to Rel, but Alistair does not give you realistic engage. Does not work that well with Jarvan, in my opinion. And it doesn't matter if you have Peel if you're getting outranged. So you could even argue, maybe with Kalista you want to ban. Maybe. But I think Alistair against Kalista doesn't survive. They just banned Rakan? Okay. What do you pick then? Like, honestly, what the fuck does LNG pick then if they ban Rakan here as well? Leona? Don't like it. Champ sucks. And you get like decent backline access into Orianna, but who cares? Okay. Here, probably AD carry, Kalista or Varus. Keep Rel flex, unless there's like a really OP pick, like Poppy you want to secure, but I doubt it. Senna! Okay, now, we're like kind of getting hyped, okay? Does this sort of lock Rel in jungle? Yes, it does. Right? I've never seen Rel Senna bot. I guess he can pull it off. Wait, Storm, you're kind of like a Senna kind of an enthusiast, right? Can he pull off Senna Rel? I guess with farming Senna you can. I just don't know how good farming Senna is right now. We played Senna in TDS against Geo as well on stage, where we played a support, which was a bit of a greedy draft. I kind of agree with that, but it was with Nyla, so that was like a kind of like standard sort of thing. Insta Blitzcrank against Senna bot lanes doesn't have to be that bad. But if that is just like another tank, I don't think the Blitzcrank is gonna do all that much, I'm afraid. I don't know if you can still do it, right? But if I'm, like, if I remember, like, the center bot lanes, I just go Sion here. No clue about Korean side of center, to be fair, aside from the typical Tamken, Seraphine, Nyla pairings. Yeah, okay. Right? So probably, well, just jungle, and then here we just pick either an 80 carry / fasting side. I guess it could Nyla. Nyla is probably fine. My Polish friend, whose name I can't pronounce, welcome to the stream as well. And it's probably Nyla, but the base thing is Sion. Sion seems so good here. Kaiser Blitzcrank laning against Sion does not seem fun. But it's Nyla. It's Keria. This is not Sion. It's Nyla. It might be Tamkench, but it's Nyla. Yeah. Right, not a surprise here. So how did I think the draft turned out? Well, first of all, Blitzcrank I think is decent. Gwen, I don't like too much, right? So one thing LNG of course realizes that in their draft, if they're going to hard engage into that team, they're going to lose. So of course you have to go for a decent side lane. If Gwen is the only real decent side lane pick you have into Aatrox, I think the Gwen pick is fine. Otherwise, I think it's not that great. It is Zika. So Zika plays Fiora. Why not just go Fiora? Like if you're hard playing for side lane, just go Fiora. Maybe they just want to have like a mix, but what do you think about Cho here? I think Cho also works. It just depends on if you play it. I think Kaiser is one of those lanes where you can greed your fasting pick a little bit more because Kaiser's lane is okay, but it's not that crazy. It's really not that crazy. At least with Blitzcrank. Against all of these fasting picks that are really tanky. I think Cho'Gath is fine. I just like Sion because I think Sion just has more straight up damage early on. I still Giga prefer T1 sort of draft. I think it's way easier to play. I think T1's teamfight later on is very, very easy. I think if we look at lane states, unless Blitzcrank finds a hook, I think T1 kind of has... I actually don't know too much about the top of the matchup, but I reckon it's Aatrox's favored early on. And at one point, Gwen is just looking to obliterate side lane. Just doing Gwen things, right? But I reckon that wins early. Orianna into Z, in my opinion, is a winning matchup. Z can get sort of priority, and you have to be careful in the Z level 6. Especially with Jarvan and Blitz. But Rel is fairly decent at matching. I really do prefer the Orianna side. And Nyla Senna, I think, is a really broken combo view, good mechanically. And it's Gumayusi Keria, so... the chance of your Senna inting is really low, really low. And whenever I saw Senna support in scrims, actually, it looked really good. Nyla Senna. Like when we played it at TDS, because Oner was a really good Senna player. And when we played against teams that played Senna, which I'm not sure which teams I can leak, because I didn't follow the other cups. So I'm not going to say anything, but it looked fairly strong a lot of times. Alright, let's jump into the game. How should the game go, in my opinion? Well, how the game should go, in my opinion, is that you've got Nyla Senna against Blitzcrank, so you really want to make sure they can't hit. Okay? The thing is always with Blitzcrank is... a lot of people stack with Blitzcrank and invade with Blitzcrank. It's a bigger bait. One of the support players that can actually pilot an ADC as well? Exactly. Of course, referring to Keria. I think invading with Blitzcrank is a bait, because if you invade with Blitzcrank, you allow the enemy team to walk in on the other side. Right? Because if you invade with Blitzcrank, you're going to walk as like 3 to 4 people, at least. Right? Maybe even 5. And by going as 3 to 5 here, well, of course, enemy team, like in this case T1, could ward some part of the jungle. Whereas if you don't invade with Blitzcrank, T1 needs to respect, and they cannot. So let's look at LNG's early game plan, right? I would reckon they get Giga outscaled. Or not I would reckon, I argue they get Giga outscaled, right? In terms of composition and in terms of champions, of course, individually. Maybe top lane not, right? So what they want to do is they want to accelerate the game, and one of the best ways to accelerate the game with a pick like Jarvan is to gank, obviously, right? Where are you going to gank? Well, you can sort of gank everywhere, technically, but preferably bot lane, because it's T1, right? And if we look at the composition, right, the second bot lane starts losing, it's a lot easier for you to play. Kaiser is fed, you've got GALA on Kaiser, also some player you really need to respect on this champion, and you have a lane you can play through, whereas the other lanes I don't think are as easy to get priority and then play through. And of course, technically, range support gets pushed, right? But if you just kill them, of course they can. Alright, so we play very safe around Blitzcrank early on. But T1 still tries to look for a ward, it seems like. Interesting. Wait, are they invading? Like, no fucking way you're invading. Well, are your Raptors invading? Are your Raptors invading and then into contesting red? Oh, T1 is crazy. Ooh, okay, well that is actually crazy. I thought T1 is just walking in right now to just get some wood information on Jarvan, because of course, like we just said, LNG needs to accelerate. Jarvan is a really good early ganker. Everyone that ever watched Malang play a game knows this very, very well. So you really don't want to ward against Jarvan in terms of lane pressures and whatever. You want to get information on where this guy paths, right? You really have to be careful about that. But it seems like T1 just invades. Lane invades themselves. And just goes to Raptors into contestants on red. Raptors is the fastest. You have very good Raptor take. Into potentially going on red. Or you're not even taking red. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so I'm uploading like a YouTube video basically right now when we watch not LNG, NRG against G2. And what we talked about is if you invade enemy bot side like this, for example, like the red buff side, you have to be careful about not invading for too long. For two reasons. Number one, of course, enemy team can look to stop you, right? Number two, the problem that you have with overstaying in the side of the jungle sector is that you end up taking enemy jungle out of these respawn, right? But now you're required to actually farm your camps. If you only take their camps and then it's a 50-50, of course, like both of you are going to have 12 CS, right? Both of you took 3 camps, but all of his camps respawn on higher level and you're going to be behind. Which can be a problem because number one, enemy jungle can do, for example, what Contracts did, try to invade, try to look for camps himself, which Yike had to respond. And then you can't even effectively farm your camps or sequence your camps, and you're not really in that good of a position. Right? A lot of rambling for if you invade, don't get too greedy. Usually, I think 2 camps or 3 camps if you can dive. It's like a very simple rule you can follow in case you're like a low level primary team, for example. No, honestly, lower than ERL 1. Honestly, maybe not lower than ERL. Why is it just falling back onto your own camps? Can't get cheesed. Still have information on enemy camps, at least to a decent extent. Wait, Faker just fucking solo kill Scout? It nearly does. Damn. I thought that Azir actually can get pushed early in the lane. I guess he can, but he walked up and he just got traded upon. So right now we just see a map split. Game just started and suddenly now the center have all the room and time in the world to just pull it ahead in the 2v2 with Zeus plus extra XP. Yeah. So I was wondering what Oner is going to do here after you take your camps, right? But it seems like he's really happy about just splitting the map. And the interesting thing is, and now we really understand way better what he tried to do with his invade is, of course, like if you plan to split the map, you're going to take his camps after. Because you'd rather have your camps respawn first than the enemy camps. So just go for the Raptors invade, forcing Jarvan into the other side, falling back, playing safe, getting your camps on respawn timer, and then invading his camps later, which you're able to do anyway, is really, really smart. That's really, really smart, actually. Really well done. Mid lane has priority as well, so really nice. Wait. Why is this? I'm not sure if I like Azir rushing Nash's to this game. Why is Azir rushing Nash's? Why does he have attack speed? Is T1 that tanky? Are you lacking damage? Because I reckon you'd really like to have Liandry here. Why are you going Nash's? Not sure. Not sure actually. Scout doesn't have flash. You're looking for a play. Able to find it. Lucky. You try to reinvade Raptors. Yeah. I don't know if I like this. It's fine to go for this play. I think I'd prefer just being in a position to just one-shot Raptors. Right, if we really look at when Jarvan is scary, of course he can gank pre-6, but his ult is really strong, right? So I really wouldn't mind to just stand there and just inside contest Raptors. And they're playing for like a skirmish around the stones. Dash dive. If he's... Ah, well, I guess you can't really dive it. Yeah, nah, you can't really dive that. Maybe T1 can. Maybe I'm overestimating T1's mechanical ability. Because diving this, I think, is not possible. But game for a mid lane gank, it does make sense. I'm certain this is a practice and thoroughly theoretically crafted game setup map. For sure it is. 100% it is. Also, Java 95 was Raptor still wasn't base. Still hasn't seen his bot side one time in the first 5 minutes. Yes, number one, that. Number two, I mean, even if he can like base here, like it doesn't really change anything. Like if Jarvan bases and moves towards bot lane, you still would see him on his scans, right? And otherwise, you just wait at bot lane on rail, right? It doesn't really matter. T1 Oner's job here is one thing, and that is make sure that Jarvan does not find a play onto his bot. Or mid lane. Or mid lane isn't really relevant before level 6. So here you just move towards bot side again. If Jarvan isn't on his Raptors, you still do the same thing. But yeah, you're absolutely right, right? What are we playing for? Well, we're playing to make sure that Jarvan doesn't really fight anything. This is a good way to do it. We see Radiant Virtue Rush by Rel. Looking at an item purchase here. The only problem that I see is, like if you take your walls and Grump here, I think it's fine if you can instant reset into looking for bot lane. You're trying to find something in top, I think it's so hard. Because what is Rel going to do after her base? Well, she's probably going to look. Like there's no reason for her to be instantly bot lane, I think. Yeah, she's gonna look to defend topside play / make sure she clears her cams ASAP. Because the bot lane isn't here anyway. I don't like Jarvan going for the top lane play. I think you instant reset and you look for mid / bot. But I don't like Rel being here necessarily either. I don't know if he's just allowing Zeus to just get a decent base. If it's just allowing Zeus to get a decent base, it's fine. But I really don't like staying here if they can freeze anyway. Yeah. I think Oner here wastes a bit of time. I think you just... Like, in a way, you want to help him. But if you don't allow your top laner to crash the wave here anyway, realistically, then you shouldn't. I guess it's fine, like, who really cares about resources on Rel. You can maybe try to get the wave in, and if the enemy team plays it well, it's just unlucky. Yeah, Gwen gaming. And I love Gwen, I think the champion is so broken. I'm so happy seeing this champion being picked at Worlds, because I think the champion was so broken. We played this shit so much at TDS. And the champion is so unbalanced. Champ got everything. We see the dragon pickup. We see like a 630 pickup. I don't know if it's just based on bottom wave or if they're actually trying to pick up the first dragon on this specific timer. So let's check out the other games later and try to keep this first dragon time in mind. And let's think a bit about why it might be good to take Drake at that timer. I guess you're able to take... Let me think. I was thinking about bot lane wave state, but I guess here... You just don't really... I mean, in a way, you want to make sure you get Herald, but if you can't, like, it doesn't really matter too much if you just find a good bot lane cross map. You're just delaying it to play. Like, Oner's not starting it. Oner is starting it. Can he just get it like that? Is his skirmish that good? Like, when is he? It looks pretty down strong, actually. Ah, never mind. Wait, let me watch this fight again. Did LNG mess up, or am I underestimating T1's skirmishing ability here? I remember getting fucked by Nyland Scrims' Kaiser drama. Wait. Nautical, like, was it even against us? Was it even? Oh, it was even against us, didn't we? Dive you. Oh, I think I actually remember the game. I actually think I remember the game. Oh, I think we legit dove you like 4 times that game. Okay, never mind. I overestimated this skirmishing ability. Faker just giving Jarvan a little love dab at his 3rd raptor spawn too. Let me check. Oh yeah?
Dragon, and I do towards that top side. Zeus still at his top this year, 3% of a level. Does mean Zika already has about like what is it, 40%?
I don't know if they're also, by the way, specifically doing it because of level 6 donors. And Tarzan still gets it, right? But he's a bit late with it. But yeah. I mean, overall, pretty damn good early game by T1. I also thought for a second, wait, can LNG win it? But honestly, there's no way. Gwen early game. This is the downside of the champ, right? This is just the downside of Gwen. This is indeed the downside of. Keria, so good. Damn.
He's got a crystal, he's got some mana and a dagger. That's it, right? Like he doesn't really have much power.
By the way, why the fuck does Scout have a dagger? Did he just reset on 300 gold? I don't. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Okay, here we get Herald. How are we gonna use the Herald? I'm wondering if T1 is also a team like G2 where they look to just play for items like with Herald on AD carry. Honestly, I would, but I only would do it if you like at really high level, because I feel like if you're not like G2, T1, like world level team, you just Herald mid lane, man. You just don't care. I mean, is there serious stats for that Herald fight? Atrix actually a good value, and you have Xenold, yeah. I mean, even if you have better items, I think it's very hard to win this fight.
And they're one of those LPL teams that is least likely to fight you if they don't feel that they're in an advantageous position. So it is a little bit surprising to see them opting into it.
T1 is just playing really hard for lane. I feel like T1 is the team that G2 tried becoming. Honestly, T1 is a team that G2 tried to become. Okay, we just Herald bit good. Yeah, just don't give a shit. Nice, I like it. Just don't give a shit. No way, no way, no way, no way. What is Tarzan doing? There's no way. Huh? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, sort of bottle top lane. Oh, nice. Okay, sure. Well, this game is a little bit doomed for LNG, honestly. This game is indeed a little bit doomed for LNG. By the way, where were the people that told me that Tarzan was the best jungle in the world before Worlds? Where are the people? Can someone tell me where the people are? Like, even at TDS we were discussing who was the best jungle, man. Like, shut up, okay? If you're not saying Kanavi or Oner, then you're fucking coping. Maybe you should shut up. What do you mean, Tarzan? What do you mean? It's not fucking Season 8. And now, is it the time to FF? Yeah. The game's not in the best spot. Now, one thing you always have to agree with is I don't believe that any game is truly lost ever. I'm the kind of delusional sort of opinion, because at TDS we won games that were illegal to win. We absolutely won games that were completely illegal to win. We were like 15k behind and we lost everything. We still won a game in playoffs. And will the VOD be available? I lost everything till now. Yeah, the VOD will be available later. But mainly what we were discussing is Java needs to be out. You need to make sure you have information about Java. You want to maintain lane states. Interesting thing is, of course, Oner's first pathing. Oner's first pathing, I think, is really interesting. I think outside of that was like mostly just spectating what happened. By the way, welcome to the stream, Kuma. About Crown, honestly, I know a lot of people hate Crown. I don't think it's that bad. In case you have enough damage. Looking at this composition here, I think you have more than enough damage. So Orianna surviving longer just to even give movement speed and E to her teammates, I think is actually worth. I don't think it's that bad. I don't know why the heck is going Banshee second. I'm not sure if it like that. I think Banshee is a shit item. But I think Crown is not even that bad. I would love to have a stat. I would love a stat how much time Jam was top side of map versus bot side of map in the first 40 minutes. Maybe. And by the way, guys, if you're really interested for the next game, if we really go in depth and really analyze, right? I wouldn't mind just downloading the replay real quick and then watching it with the replay. If you guys prefer that, by the way. In case there's a lot of people here that would actually like to have the information about specific things. Like for example, center souls, I can get the replay for. Okay, let's kind of get back to the game. Okay, we'll get next Drake. Great. Because I would love to know how many souls Senna has already. Get the Raptors again. I kind of want to see like T1's approach to vision. A lot is Raptor Ward. I feel like T1 always has Raptor Ward. Do you guys see that? At every point in the game, T1 is playing for some wards around, for some vision around Raptors. You can see that the ring. Oh yeah, actually, true. True. It says on the overlay the cell comms. Yeah, that is true. I'm blind. I would prefer to have the LEC way, by the way, because I'd still like to see the keystone, and you can just do the LEC thing, which is putting another number in the champion portrait. Yeah, the Raptor control was absurd. Yeah, I think the Raptor control is actually like a case study you can legitimately do and just work on with the team. Because, by the way T1 plays is the way I like League of Legends, which is absolute control. I look at League of Legends like I look at Jiu-Jitsu, where you get the enemy on the ground and you like slowly work yourself up, get through the legs basically, and get into position, get control of the arms, and just choke the enemy out. That's how I look at League of Legends. So the way T1 controls Raptors is actually very interesting for me. Because Blitzcrank took the ward, I think, right? Wait, no, Blitzcrank didn't? Okay, never mind. You don't pass it. Okay, I'm blind. First Raptor invaded, second was fought over. The third Raptor, Oriana, gives a little love tap, drops a ward. Fourth Raptor, we invade and places control ward. Yeah. A little bit correct. And I'm wondering what T1 is currently playing for here. But one thing to note is, at this point, how do you lose this game as T1? And that is, number one, either by playing really explosively and just inting, right? Or Quen side laning later. Because there's no way you win lose a team fight with this composition. The Oner is actually really interested in making sure his top lane is in a fine state. Which is interesting to me, because in my opinion, top lane is really OP currently. I think top lane is really OP. I think top laners need to stop coping. Their champions are giga broken. I guess you also didn't really have information on Jarvan. Right, so maybe Jarvan could already be here. You really didn't have like full info here. And you don't have camps up. And your lane is on here. Right, so I guess there's really no other place for him to be than top lane anyway. Right, but it's also interesting to look at top lane. How interested Oner is in making sure his lane states are fine. Although, to be fair, right, the way T1 plays in terms of early game, you really need to have superior / really good laners for it. But this is also, by the way, the power of a good positional coach. And the power, I don't know if they have it, right? But getting the best laners is usually related to really good positional coaching. Of course, a lot of money. And in my opinion, very specific practice like 1v1s and 2. Not saying T1 does it, probably not. But then again, they probably have the best laners. I mean, not really the best, right? Of course, Faker. Not the best lane anymore, but Zeus is really fucking good. And Gumayusi, Keria are still really insane. Of course, you can critique Gumayusi at other parts of the game. Interesting though how aggressively they play. So the setup we see here towards mid game is a lot more through side lane. Of course, Nyla is really fed. But that's what we already discussed, right? Like LNG wants to make sure they set up through side. Playing through team fights, not the easiest. Playing for control from mid, not really the easiest. And by playing through side, you split the enemy team. Right, you get side an advantage and then you look towards mid lane. Very simple setup by LNG here. And look guys, it works. Get jumps. It works. It's really easy. Baker just TPs in and T1 still gets the hero, but they would have gotten it anyway, right? At least you get a flash. But as always, right, mid-game setup, we don't get control, / we want to split the enemy team up, we usually play through side. You send across map. Fine answer by LNG. Just not really a lot you can do at this point. What you need at this point as LNG is you need to get a catch or really, really good team fight. The problem that you're going to run into is Gumayusi is hopefully just gonna catch this wave and he has his mythic. Let's see. He does, and now you're a little bit screwed. Because now you need to take this fight. Why do you need to take this fight now? Because if you don't take this fight right now as LNG, okay, number one, we have to think about scaling, right? But the even bigger thing at this point in time is because T1 is accelerated, right now you're sitting on 1 item spike and T1 is sitting on 1.5. This is still playable, right? Whereas like 1.5/1.4 probably even against 2 item spikes is gonna be a lot worse. And of course, the longer their game goes, the lesser the gap is, the lesser like a gap like that is, right? But spikes are still the important thing, right? Of course, in terms of gold, 1 to 1.5 is still a bigger disadvantage, right? To 1.5 to 2. However, this is not how the game goes, right? The game works with spikes. So 1 to 1 spike plus a little bit of extra gold in comparison to 1 to 2, major difference, right? So if you're LNG, you need to find a fight right now. You need to set up for this dragon fight. Problem is, your Z is already quite late. So hopefully you can get control here. I don't know what GALA does. I don't know if GALA check for some TP vision. Bad by the way. Like bad by LNG by the way to not check this brush for TP. Moin, welcome to the stream class. But LNG needs to fight here 100%. I think if they don't fight here, you're legitimately losing the game 100%. Unless T1 makes mistake. You get mid T1 without even heralding. LNG decides to cross map it. I think now the game is doomed. Why is the game doomed now? Well, you get a cross map, right? But let's really look at a cross map. You're going for the cross map play. And of course you're getting objective bounty. But you're doing it with cams up. And you're doing it against a team that has Herald, right? So if T1 really wanted to, they could have taken Dragon and then rushed towards bot lane to Herald bot. I guess T1 doesn't want to. And just decided to play for Chems first. And for base. But yeah, I mean, I personally believe this game is not really winnable by LNG anymore. Because you can't go for another cross map. Because now T1 is going to reset, get back into the map, and they've got Herald. So if you go for a cross map, T1 is 100% going to get the better one. Right? And now the next fight is going to be on T1 with 2 items, whereas you will have only 1. And actually, Kaiser's gold is fairly decent. Kaiser's gold is actually fairly decent. But the rest of the team is a lot further behind. Let's see how T1 sets it up. You don't fix silent, T1 is instantly playing onto mid. T1 plays for full Nash control, do they not? T1 is actually playing like the sort of easy dream way of running down mid lane, trying to get a catch into Nash. Because usually most teams are, like if Aatrox is already here, they play for bot lane. Don't look mid lane items. I think Crown is okay. Don't cancel me, guys. I think Crown is not even that bad. I think Banshees is horrible though. I agree with the Banshees. The Banshees is, I don't know. But usually, guys, we'd see Aatrox push up bot, but T1 doesn't really care. They're instantly going mid, and they're instantly playing for the big free Herald play. I'm wondering though, to be honest, could Aatrox not have just been bot lane? I guess maybe you need to respect, but I don't think you do. But yeah. They decided to just push up top, get his next crash, potentially get a good fight if they can, and then really try to play for Nash the second you're able to, honestly. As is actually on 2 items, found quite well. But now Gumayusi is on his 2 items, of course. And by the way, really, really good by GALA, in my opinion. And there is one big bait, especially Eddie Carey's players run into, is if you're behind, you're not allowed to finish your boots, in my opinion, most of the time. Right? Because if you're behind, you're rushing to match item spikes. Boots are nice, but they're not an item spike. So one thing I really like by GALA, actually, is outgoing boots. Because you really need your second item. I know it's Kaiser, so you're more able to. And he even has boons in his runes. boots in his runes. But that is one thing I feel like people do too little. Like if you're behind, you don't finish your boot unless your champion really spikes with it. Of course, if you're colors, you still gotta go boots. Right? But if you're playing a champion that doesn't really require them, or against an enemy comp that doesn't really require, for example, mercs, then I think delaying it, going for your second item spike, is significantly better. How does T1 set it up? They get bot lane into even state. Aatrox resets. Again, they don't go deep on side. They don't fix side lane deep. Zeus just resets and he opens towards mid. Interesting. I don't know if it's about them really caring about just not getting caught, or if it's about them wanting to play together as 4-man on this mid lane wave. Most of the time it feels like you either rush boots in lane for specific spacing trading advantages. Besides that, I feel like getting to 2 core items is better 99% of the time. Yes. I think if you're ahead, it's better. Because of course you said, okay, for specific spacing and trading advantages. And if you're ahead, you're really looking for that. Right? But if you're behind, usually you're number one not really looking for that. And if you're behind, you need to get to your item spike. Because these item spikes are usually the main items that allow you to deal damage. Kraken Slayer, significant damage boost. Navari, significant damage boost. You could argue Collector not as much, but Gale Force, for example, significant mobility boost. Although I believe that Gale Force is not that good on either. I don't like Gale Force. I think it's over. I think Navari is a lot better. LNG is really praying. And if we actually look at it, right, in a way they reach 2 items, right? So this is like 2 items to like 2.5 in a way. But if you look at Faker, it's even at 3 items now. Ooh, and Oner gets it. Outsmarting Bell is fucking impossible, man. Okay, never mind. I changed my mind on Gale Force. What the fuck was that? Oop, oop, oop. Okay, Zeus? Okay. Actually, I respect it. They just need to try to get a catch on the Zeus here. It just doesn't work out. I respect it. Otherwise, they're just gonna get... T1 is just gonna get... I can't talk. It's just gonna get Nash and just win the game. Alright. Does anyone have any questions? Because this game is over. This game is indeed really, really over. So I've never watched this in 2 times speed, but this is not an interesting fight for me. Maybe the intention behind Crown Banshee is to have his 3rd item spike super early. Maybe. Maybe. But then again, your 3rd item spike is Void Staff, right? So why do you really care about your 3rd item spike early if you're not like if the spike doesn't matter as much, right? Because you could argue, well, Void Staff spike in a way matters, but Banshee spike doesn't. Banshee in this game is not an item that really spikes you, unless against Blitzkrieg, but come on. Like how is Blitzkrieg ever gonna get in range to hit you? So it's like maybe a Zeus shuffle, but you usually get hit by Q anyway if you get shuffled. Or by some random bullshit. Maybe the Banshees is to protect the crown? But yeah, I don't know. He's just playing tank Oriana. Playing full utility. But again, if you play full utility, you go Cosmic Drive for the CDR. And for the mobility. Yeah, but then look at, like, Faker's choving. Of course he's getting his 3rd item ASAP. Like, you're buying cheap items, and he's choving. Banshee's Void Staff and Crown are all really cheap items. GG. Okay, guys. So, how the heck did this game turn out like that? Number 1, draft already really good. Jarvan B1 or Rel Oriana at 1 or 2, I'd always take that, man. I'm already think I'm winning draft in at 1 or 2, right? Really, really big. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick. Secondly, the way T1 played around winning lanes, especially bot lane, really, really good. From the beginning, we understand we'll play against a composition that needs to accelerate. We'll play a vulnerable lane, like Nyla Senna. What do we need to do? Well, we need to disable the enemy jungle from doing things around the map. We do that by invading, using strong level 1. The way T1 invaded, though, I think was really a thing of... Okay, so the way they start is like fairly simple, right? We go for Raptors invade. We play Rel, we take Raptors first. What a fucking surprise, right? Nothing crazy about that. However, after Oner just says, well, fuck this. I'm moving to take my camps. He can't get cheesed. He gets his camps on a respawn cycle, right? And he can still just re-invade later. And of course, right, later on, like Jarvan is not going to take this and gank bot lane, right? So by doing that also, he's able to get better control of his jungle. And you're then, especially on red, like invading like the red buff side, you're better able to move to your laners than, for example, taking walls, right? Because you're sitting in Nirvana. Only question for this game would be how exactly is bot lane playing waves, timers, moves, and so on to support the game plan of disabling the jungle this much? Honestly, this is an interesting thing to check. So let's see what bot lane does. Actually, a really good point by you still. Let's check it out. Here bot lane just mainly plays for turret damage, farming center souls, farming items, farming platings potentially. We mess up the Raptors invade here because we looked for the mid lane gank. Happens. Scout doesn't have flash, right? If you find it, you just kill him. Find a look. Up until now, nothing crazy that T1 bot lane did. They just reset here because it's Dirk Spike by Nila. Then stays in map. I guess a maximum efficiency and then resets after. And then goes to Swifties and just runs towards bot. Usually we'd see them just open towards mid lane first, but he just runs towards bot. And then interplaying again. I mean, here you see Jarvan towards top lane, so it doesn't really make a big difference. You play Drake. Honestly, Storm, right now, the answer is they're not really playing for bases based on that all too much, do they? I feel like jungle mid kind of disable enemy jungle and bot just plays for maximum 2v2 advantage without a care in the world, yeah. Did T1 bot lane do anything special? Nah, they just went for bases on their spikes, look. Now they just base when she had Dirk. Send out base on Swifties. Send out base again on Dirk. Bot lane just played for bot lane. They don't do shit. Which makes sense if you play Senna. Right? Because even with an aggressive sort of bot lane, if you play anything other than Senna, I'd really like to take more support timers to really get control of the map. Really get control of Raptors. But with Senna, honestly, just let her farm. Just let them cook in bot lane. Raptors control really is the thing of beauty in this game. Does anyone else have any questions about that game here? Anyone else with any questions about this specific game here? Not a set at any second spent in 2v2 is winning, I guess. There was a point where they were like combined 4 levels up and 60 souls and stats. Yeah. I mean, Senna is one of the best scaling supports. Well, not one of the. It's the best scaling support. And Nyla is really enabling Senna to play. And that for me, by the way, is the interesting thing about Nila, right? But also Kalista. Because if you guys still remember Rogue, right? Where they played Kalista Soraka. I always argued you play Kalista Soraka to let your support scale. And your support carry. Because Kalista, of course, aggressive lane. Allows Soraka to play aggressively. Farm gold. Right? But also you have a repositioning tool. Nila, on the other hand, has a defensive tool in W that she can share with anyone she touches, of course. She has extra healing in a kit, and she has extra experience. I argue Nila and Kalista are in a way champions that allow enchanters to scale, which I think is really cool. Because I think scaled enchanters are really OP. The problem is letting them scale, and the problem is controlling the map state in a way that number one, they're ahead, because enchanters from behind are usually not as good. Because if you play enchanters from behind, you don't have CC to really go for catches. A lot of times at least. And secondly, they're a lot more vulnerable, of course. So you either need to play very controlly, or you need to flip a lot, like Malang did, for example, which allowed Rogue to kind of go more for this sort of playstyle. Alright, Seems like there aren't any more questions, so in case you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the socials linked down below the video, especially the stream if you want to see your input as well. And if you have any questions, please do use the YouTube comments or check out my Discord and just message me there, okay? Have a nice day, and hopefully see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.